People of the internet, today we're going to learn how Joe Rogan's endorsement of Donald Trump ruined his podcast forever. We're going to learn about it right now.
Nobody, and I mean nobody, is more of a two-faced weasel than Joe Rogan. And what I mean when I say that is, basically his entire time doing the podcast, it's like he'll have on one guest and say one thing, then he'll have on a guest with the opposite philosophy and say the other. Like he'll agree with whoever he's sitting across from. He'll act like they're a genius. He'll act like they're making, points that can't be rebutted. But he'll flip back and forth, back, forth, back, forth. He'll agree with me, then he'll agree with Steven Crowder. He'll agree with, Abby Martin, then he'll agree with Ben Shapiro. And I don't know why he skated on it so long. He skated on it so long where people acted like, no, this is just like a centrist-y guy or a left-leaning guy, but like he's reasonable, he's objective, and he tries his best.
I have to be honest, back in the day when Joe Rogan started bringing Ben Shapiro on, I was really, that felt really sus to me. I couldn't understand, because I know Joe was supposed to bring people on but Ben Shapiro is an absolute quack job. He absolutely has lost his mind. He is just the epitome of a man nobody wants to be, and he's just a horrible person. And I could never understand it, and Joe'd be like, oh, see, we could get along, and he would reference his relationship with Ben Shapiro, and it just felt really weird to me. But I guess now it all makes sense, right? He was just trying to slowly introduce his people to the Republican Party.
No, he's a snake. That's what he is. He's a snake. Every time I hear shit like this, I want to take a fork and shove it directly in my eyeball, because every other week there's always somebody who clips out a portion of Rogan's show where they try to make it look like, oh, look, bro, look, he's sort of like he's going after Trump a little bit, kind of, sort of, not really. Like, look, bro, look what he said here. So I have a great example from this week. Let's take a listen. Here we go.
It's true. You can present. I mean, I've done millions of videos showing Joe Rogan supports Epstein class, supports the Epstein associates. He's a horrible friend. He supports pedos. I've shown so much evidence of all their abuse, their sexual abuse towards women, all of it. And these rogansphere fans will cover all of it. And I never understand it, right? Where you feel so compelled to follow someone or simp for someone, or maybe they're giving you some kind of purpose in life, listening to it on Spotify. I don't know. But you put your whole reputation on the line for this little guy. And I don't understand why you would do that. There's many times where there's people. There was, I don't remember who it was, but it was a couple years ago. And I really like this band, and they did something, and I was like, yeah, I can't support that. And it's not like something little, but something major, which, conflicted my beliefs. And I was like, they make good music, but I just can't support them anymore because what they said is wrong. I don't think it's like such a big deal. I mean, I look at all these different angles. I look at other people. I don't understand why your whole identity is based. And meanwhile, this guy is supporting some of the worst things in the world, putting on some of the worst people in the world, putting on the people that harm people, harm our country. And y'all just got to defend them till the boat sinks. Are you trying to hang out with that little submarine that went kapoom? What are we doing?
He's made a fortune in this
They made
term.
a settlement with the IRS. I think that's why a lot of it came out recently. But he can't be charged with anything, or
Yeah, they can't be. The latest thing is that he and his kids and his company cannot be audited.
Oh, that's cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. Oh, it's cool.
That's my settlement.
What was the settlement?
Now notice the laughing. Now, granted, he's laughing like, damn, that's sort of absurd, but he's laughing, right? Keep that in mind.
What was the IRS being sued for? What was the accusation?
It was for the leak of his tax returns.
Okay, so the IRS leaked his tax returns?
He said they were reckless and
settlement of his $10 billion lawsuit.
2018 leak of his tax returns to the New York Times in the U.S. is forever barred and precluded from examining or prosecuting Trump, his sons, and the Trump Organization's current tax filings, according to one-page document released Tuesday. That is so crazy. Imagine like somebody accused you of murder.
Yeah.
And it turns out you weren't guilty of that murder, and then you sue them and you go, you can never prosecute me for murder again. And then like, you just go straight Uday Hussein.
Yeah. And they're like, it's cool.
So understand what happened here. Donald Trump sued his own IRS for, was it $100 billion, I believe? And his own IRS said, "Oh, no, sir. We don't want to fight this in court. We feel like we may lose. Let's just negotiate and settle out of court." And Trump ends up getting from his own IRS, his own government, 1.7 billion U.S. taxpayer dollars that he immediately puts in, his own little slush fund where he's going to disperse that money to his friends, to his family, and to January 6th terrorists and insurrectionists who assaulted cops and were pedophiles. Okay, that's what he's doing. Also,
sometimes when I first hear this, I just couldn't believe that this could be done. You're raised on this whole like bullshit of systems of checks and balances. And even though Donald Trump has done some stuff, I would figure something so corrupt as this, right? Something so corrupt that it wouldn't happen. But I almost feel like nothing's off limits. This guy's going to do whatever he wants. Like, I thought that. But I thought at some point he might cross the line where people stand up, or at least our officials, elected officials do. But they never do. And any kind of power, Donald Trump's stripping away. I don't know if you feel like this, but I feel like I'm going crazy. It is just so insane that a fraction of what has happened is allowed to happen. And it's so insane that Donald Trump is using our government as his personal ATM. He is making money hand over fist. He just handed out the government, I don't know which department, but they just handed out a $20 million contract to one of Trump's son's companies that was only created 2 years ago. It's like this is the plan the whole time, was to distress, cause chaos, limit people's ability to keep him in check, limit the everyday people's ability to worry about anything because the gas is too high, the groceries are too expensive, the pay at work is too little, and the rent is due, right? It just seems like this is just create chaos and enrich yourself. I think if I had any plan that I would approve of that Trump is doing right now, that would be it. And plus the Israel agenda. They rule our country for some fucking reason, but they do,
Part of this, he's made it so that they can never audit him ever again for any reason whatsoever. So he basically just gave himself a green light to never pay taxes again and never get checked on his tax crimes again. That's what he did. Now, let me ask you a question. If it was Joe Biden that did this, or Barack Obama, or any Democratic president that did this, would Joe Rogan have sounded this calm in his reaction to it? Right? Would he have been, sort of laughing and like, that is kind of crazy, bro? But like, yeah, here's the thing, Joe. You're not fooling anybody, dog. You're not fooling anybody. Whatever your fucking little tepid criticisms every now and then of Trump, you get most passionate on your show when shitting on Democrats, still to this day. And we know why that is. We know it's because you're buddy-buddy with Dana White, who's also your boss. You're buddy-buddy with Donald Trump. You're buddy-buddy with J.D. Vance. You're buddy-buddy with Elon Musk. You're buddy-buddy with Peter Thiel. You're in that club. You're in the Epstein class. You're in that club. And so since Trump texts you, since Trump calls you, since Trump Jr. texts you, and Trump Jr. calls you, you're never going to tell everybody the full truth, are you? And he's never going to have. Why is it? How crazy is this, bro?
I wouldn't doubt that Joe Rogan is getting deals of his own, right? With the amount of money Joe Rogan got from Spotify, I mean, he's gotten 2 Spotify deals. I think the second one was like 200 something million, and allowed him to go back to YouTube. So, anyway, so, he's with all his other stuff, he's probably getting close to $1 billion, 700 million something. And I think a lot of the reason, besides many others, but one of the reasons is he's been given access to make money like this. I just think he is. I think Joe Rogan got to a point where the power, the ability to earn the status and the wealth of a billionaire, all of these things. And I think that's now his goal. Look, you could say whatever you want about Joe Rogan at this point. Right? You can cry blue in the face, but Joe Rogan ain't changed. He isn't stopping the flip-flopping. He isn't stopping the support of Trump. This is who he is, and I think he's on the take, and I think he's also getting deals, and he's probably making some backwards money. You know, the guy that always complains about pharmaceutical drugs sold his company on it to a pharmaceutical giant. I mean, isn't that some shit? This guy is a walking contradiction, and I think his driving force now is becoming a billionaire, obtaining more power. You know, I mean, if the Democrats, and it looks overwhelmingly like they will, but if they take over in the midterms, it's probably going to piss Joe off a lot, especially since it looks like Texas is going to go Democrat for the first time in some time. And I think Joe Rogan might lose his shit. And I'm going to say it. Get ready to clip it. I bet Joe goes into some political position. He knows his comedy career. Nobody respects him. What's the point of Joe putting out another special? Like, nobody cares. It's not going to leave a mark. You've already tarnished your comedy career. Hey, look, you've got your own little cult at the comedy mothership. Like, take that what it's worth. I'm just saying. And I think Joe Rogan, his show is diminished because he garnered an audience of groypers, incels, edgelords, chuds, MAGA, and they brought his whole show down. He's been losing views for quite some time. I mean, when in 2025, his views were cut in half, and he continues. Joe Rogan is now one of the most hated men in the world, or in America, I mean. If that's the case, everybody hates you, everybody thinks you corrupt. I think that's the point when you become a politician, because then you don't care and you just do the same thing Donald Trump is doing. That's what I think Joe might do. He might become a politician. And I think he could probably be talked into it by Dana White. You know, Dana White gets Joe to do anything. You saw Dana said, "Hey, bitch, you better endorse Trump, you little loser." And Joe did. So, just a thought.
Andrew Schultz has showed more responsibility than Joe Rogan. Dave Smith has showed more responsibility than Joe Rogan. Tim Dillon.
Wait. Kyle, you need to do your research on Dave Smith. Dave Smith is now platforming Nick Fuentes. Don't tell me that motherfucker changed. Dave Smith had on Nick Fuentes, I don't know if it was last week or the week before. Look it up. He sat there and stroked and fondled and deep-throated Nick Fuentes. You think Dave Smith is changed? Dave Smith just wanted to get out of the firing line that MAGA, was sitting in. You cannot. I don't care if Nick Fuentes is saying he's a Democrat, he don't like Trump. You cannot follow losers like that. He is a terrible person. He's fucking horrible. He's stupid. He hates, I can't. I don't even want to give this guy time. Dave Smith isn't changed. He may have said he was wrong and Trump this, that, and the other. But I think Dave Smith is more in the category of the Nick Fuentes and stuff like that. He may not appear like that, or he's trying not to appear like that, but he sat down and he was like, there ain't nothing wrong with a little bump in Nick Fuentes. You know what I mean? This is okay. Look, guys, you may not like what I have to say. I may make you mad because I tell you the truth. But this is how it is. You have to understand, you can't just take these guys' word for it. You got to look at their actions. And Dave Smith isn't changed. He just changed a position on the map, but he's still the same fucking person.
Has showed more responsibility than Joe Rogan. Almost all the other Rogan...
Okay, Tim Dillon too. Get the fuck out of here. Dude, they're all covering their ass. I know Tim Dillon's funny and you like to listen to him and he says stuff that agrees with this. But at the end of the day, he's a mortgage lender. And if you've ever seen the real estate business, it's all full of fucking con men. 10x your life, 10x your income. Join this multi-level marketing scheme in real estate. You know, blah, blah, blah. Have you heard of companies like EXP and all these fucking things? They're all fucking scams. And don't get me started on the real estate.
Sphere comedians who either forthrightly or in a roundabout way supported Trump in 2024, virtually all of them have, to one extent or another, done a little bit of a mea culpa. Dave Smith literally came out and said, I was wrong. Trump's a warmonger. Trump's bad. And Kamala would have been better. Okay.
And then he brought Nip Fuentes on. Don't forget that point. Sorry, I got to say it again. Don't forget that point, because that really shows you what a fucking snake Dave Smith is. I mean, he was on Legions of Skank, like the bottom of the barrels of shows for men. Like the absolute bottom of the barrel. The only way you go lower is you go on the shows on Kick and Rumble. That's like but they're all really tiny and barely have 50 fans, right? But just one step above that is Legion of Skanks. I feel like Legion of Skanks is for the absolute losers of society. And their panel and their hosts confirm it.
Andrew Schultz also came out there and did a semi-mea culpa and basically was like, I sort of fucked up, didn't I? Right? You know who didn't? You know who hasn't? Joe Rogan. And he has more reason than anybody to apologize. Joe Rogan has said he thinks he may have won the election for Trump. So you're the one that brought us this historic crime spree, Joe. That's not me speaking, that's you speaking, okay? You're one of the main reasons why this guy is waging a new illegal war of aggression seemingly every other week, why he's bombing fishing boats off the coast of Venezuela, why he's attacking Nigeria, he's attacking Ecuador, he's attacking Yemen, why he's waging an illegal war against Iran, a country that didn't attack us.
I do have to say, I noticed that Kyle changed his haircut, and I think this is a little better. But I also think he looks like a Roman emperor. He's got Roman emperor vibes now. Don't you think? A little Julius Caesar going on there? Anyways, I think this is a better haircut for Kyle. I just want to put that out there.
Wasn't a threat to us at all. Why he's stealing Venezuelan oil, taking the money and putting it in a private bank account. Why he's shaking down American taxpayers to the tune of $10 billion for his bullshit fucking, whatever they call it, Peace Department or whatever bullshit, the thing that's supposed to be above the UN, Department of Peace, I guess they say. It's a scam, just like everything else. He shook down his own supporters with a fucking meme coin. You didn't say dick about it. You said nothing about it. You have more smoke for Hunter Biden and Nancy Pelosi in the year of our Lord 2026 than Donald Trump, who's the most corrupt president we've ever had, ever by far, and it's not even fucking close. So what does he have to apologize for? Oh, I don't know this. Remember this? The great and powerful Elon Musk. If it wasn't for him, we'd be fucked. He makes what I think is the most compelling case for Trump you'll hear, and I agree with him every step of the way. For the record, yes, that's an endorsement of Trump. Enjoy the podcast. Joe Rogan is not going to come out and say, I apologize, I was wrong, Trump's shit, and Kamala would have been better. He's not going to do it. He has friends who have done it. He's not going to do it. Again, because he's in the club. But he doesn't want to tell you that. He doesn't want to tell you that he's in the club, that these are his friends, that he's always going to steel man the Republicans and straw man the Democrats. He doesn't want to tell you that.
Hold on. Sorry, just random interruption again. With that earring, I'm getting more George Michael vibes, And I'm never going to dance again. You see it? Or am I the only one? Okay.
So instead, what do you get every now and then? Gosh golly, I'm not so sure it's a good idea to build ICE concentration camps and arrest people with no warrants. That seems maybe a little bit extreme. Gosh golly, the Iran war, it seems like it might be a bad idea because I thought no new wars and stuff. Gosh golly, it sure is kind of funny and crazy that he robbed $1.8 billion from the American people and is using it to pay off fucking criminals and his entire family. That seems kind of bad. Gosh golly, did he protect himself from ever being audited by the IRS ever again, thereby allowing him to get away with any tax crimes he wants? Oops. Well, that's kind of crazy, isn't it? Spare me.
I often wonder, right, when I go around, just everyday life, how everyone is just not angry. I can't think, of a time when the administration of our country has angered me more than now. It is just right in your face. They're telling you, we are going to be corrupt as shit and there's nothing you can do about it. And it's so frustrating if you ever get stuck in a job where a manager's like really fucking up, they're horrible at their job, but they never get caught, and he's putting the blame on you. It's like it just feels so unjust what is happening. And when I go out, I just see it everywhere. You always hear people talking about it. You see people pissed off. You go to the store, you see people looking at the prices, and they're just like, fuck. And like, I don't think there's ever a time in this country where I've been so angry with the government. I mean, I've always had a ginormous distrust and hate for them in general because they are corrupt. But this is just next level shit. Like this is what it looks like. The things you've read in history books where, some man takes over a country and just puts it into just fucking poverty and throws progression out the window, throws equality. It just feels like this. I just think, I don't know. I'm absolutely baffled.
I'm so sick of him. I'm just so sick of him. He's never going to tell you the full truth. And you know what? Deep down, he knows. Subconsciously, he knows. He knows he's cooked. He knows his conscience is going to weigh heavy for the rest of his life. Yeah, he's hanging out with hundreds of millions of dollars, but he's got to grapple with what he's done. And he's not going to do it publicly. He's going to continue to play hide the ball, and he will only tepidly, vicariously through other guests somewhat break with Trump. But he'll never give you an apology. He'll never tell you Kamala was better. He'll never detail all of Trump's crimes. You want to talk about playing hide the ball, right? He will never tell you Elon Musk's crimes. He'll never tell you that his bestie Epstein-class billionaire, was in the Epstein files and begging to go to the island. Rogan's not going to tell you that. He's not going to tell you that Elon Musk cut pediatric cancer research and the National Weather.
No, what he'll do is he'll invite, the people, like he'll invite Elon's business partner or friend that was complicit in the crime on there. Just like he invited on the chef, just like he invited on all those people in the Epstein files. Y'all still don't think Joe Rogan's involved in the Epstein files. We'll see. But he'll become friends with them. He'll hang out with them. He'll totally ignore. Look, man, Joe Rogan's had a lot of those Epstein associates around him and on his podcast. He may be trying to act. Where's the other email? Where's the reply to Krause? I'm just saying, he's had so many Epstein people on. He still has them on. All of his friends are fucking predators. It's crazy. There's more saying he did than that. Like all the Rogansphere fans. Oh, he's a hero. Oh, he did. All right. I've argued this point many times. Never mind.
Service, which led to bad forecasts, which led to some people dying in a flood. He'll never tell you that Elon cut Meals on Wheels and the CFPB and the nuclear safety officials and FEMA and the Department of Education. He'll never tell you that because of Elon's Doge, 83,000 veterans were fired and 50% of the Social Security offices were shut and 250,000 public workers were fired and they had nowhere to go to make their money. He's not going to tell you that Elon Musk destroyed the food safety inspectors and made it so we don't have routine food safety inspectors anymore. He's not going to tell you that it was Elon who fired the air traffic controllers, which led to multiple crashes. He's not going to tell you that Elon cut the scientific research money and medical research money, which led to, studies being shut down that were very promising. He's not going to tell you that Elon's USAID cuts led to millions dying because people don't get their HIV medicine and their malaria medicine and all the other stuff.
Not to mention the problem that they're having with Ebola right now. They're saying is directly linked to being understaffed, not having money, and not having the supplies to be able to address it. And they have addressed it and successfully before. But Trump cut all that money, right? I mean, the more, it's funny, you would think, right, according to Trump, that the more time goes by, people would see him as successful. This is from Trump, right? But the more time that goes by, the more you realized what a fucking idiot Trump is. It's crazy. And like, there's just all these investigations being opened up in the Democrats into this thing, you know. I mean, you remember Pam Bondi? Remember Pam Bondi, right? Going out there, and the Dow is 50,000. That is what they really care about. But Pam Bondi got diagnosed with cancer, and all these cuts have been made. I mean, Pam, is the Dow 50,000 helping you out today? Is it getting rid of that cancer? Are you gonna go to a doctor, or are you gonna go consult the Dow on your situation, huh? Now you're having to eat that shit. You're having to eat them motherfucking words, aren't you? You didn't care about people, and nobody fucking cares about you.
Out there, he's not gonna tell you that. He's gonna continue to hide the ball and to tepidly criticize Trump, spare more smoke for the Democrats, and gaslight you every step of the way. Well, you should stop buying it because it's very fucking transparent.
Hey, y'all, do me a favor and...
Hey, y'all, go watch his show. There you go. I said it. It's interesting. It is completely interesting. And you see all this, and you just see all the people coordinating Trump to let this stuff happen, from the media to the government to the corporations, and they don't care about you. And you're living in this world where you wake up and there's like a fear, there's anxiety, you take a deep breath, you gasp for breath, and you go, is this really fucking happening? Is this the world I live in? And every day you have to acknowledge that it is. Because terrible men are doing terrible things to our country. But every once in a while, even in the darkness, there is some light. And hopefully that light will come through. And hopefully, maybe once a day you get to catch it. And if you didn't, well, this could be it.
Don't stay.